Hi there, Edge owners. Today in your 2019 Ford Edge, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install CURT's 1 1/4 inch trailer hitch receiver. And this is what our hitch looks like when it's installed. The cross tube is hidden pretty well behind the bumper, but it is noticeable down below, but it's tucked back so far that for the most part when you're just walking up on it, you don't even really see it. You will notice the receiver tube sticking out the back here. It's a class 2, 1 1/4 by 1 1/4 inch receiver, so it's going to be great for all of your light duty applications, whether you're wanting to put a bike rack in it and bring a couple of bikes with you, or if you've got a small utility trailer that you just want to get a little bit of work done. It uses a 1/2 inch hitch pin and clip. Now one doesn't come included with the hitch, but we have plenty available here at etrailer.com. On bottom we have plate style safety chain loops, and they've got a moderate sized opening that should accommodate most of your smaller and medium sized safety chains. Some of the larger ones probably won't fit in there, but this is being a 1 1/4 inch hitch, you likely won't run into that issue. It features a 350 pound tongue weight, which is the force going down on top of the receiver. It's going to be enough for a platform bike rack loaded up with a couple of bikes. It also features a 3,500 pound gross towing capacity, which is how much you could pull behind it. So if you had a small trailer you wanted to get a little bit of work done, or maybe a jet ski trailer, you could take those with you on vacation to the lake. Now, as always, I recommend you verify in your vehicle's owner's manual and ensure you don't exceed any of its towing capacities. And now I've got some measurements for you to help you when deciding on accessories. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the edge of the rear bumper, it measures about 4.5 inches. This is important when determining if any of your folding accessories can be placed in the upright storage position without contact in the bumper. And from the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube, it measures about 13 inches. And this is important when determining if you need to drop, a rise, or a raise shank on any of your accessories. Now that we've gone over some of the features of the hitch, let's go ahead and go into the shop and you can follow along and we'll get it installed together so you can have the confidence to do it at home. We'll begin our installation underneath the vehicle here at the back by removing both the undershield panels from each side. Both of these panels are going to be identical. We're going to take out 2 small bolts on the outside at the bottom of our fascia with a 5.5 millimeter socket. And then we'll go to the inside where our frame is here, and we've got 2 nuts we'll need to take off with a 10 millimeter socket. We can now go ahead and pull our cover down and set it aside. We're then going to take off the panel located on the other side. Again, it's got the same hardware to remove. We'll need to lower down our exhaust, so we're going to put a strap in place underneath to just ensure that it can't lower down too far and cause any damage to it. With our strap in place, we can lower it down by removing our exhaust hangers located on each side of the muffler. A little bit of spray lubricant on the bushing will help make it easier to get these to pry off. We'll then just take our pry bar and just pry it off of there. We'll do the same thing over on the other side. Now that we've got our exhaust out of the way, we can begin feeding our hardware into place. Now the access holes here, this slotted hole that's just forward of the 2 holes we're going to be putting our hardware through, I've gone ahead and stuck a large wrench in there. One around 1 inch should be okay, and we're just going to put that ear in there and then pull on our wrench some, and this is going to kind of bend the metal enough to allow us to get our hardware in. If you don't have a big wrench like this or any way to do this, you could also use a file or a drill bit to enlarge the hole. We can now take the coiled wires that come in our kit. We're going to feed it in the bottom holes on our hitch towards the rear. I'm going to start with the one that's slightly more towards the front first, and then we're going to poke that coiled in and feed it back towards the rear. There's an opening at the back that will allow it to slide out the side of the bumper. Sometimes it's easier to reach your hand down inside the bumper beam to grab the coiled end and bring it out. On our coiled end now, we're going to take one of the spacers that come in our kit, slide it over the coiled end, and then thread a bolt onto the coiled end. We can then take these and we're going to feed them back into the hole Then we can just pull our fish wire until our bolt drops down through the bottom of our frame. We're going to repeat that same process now for the rearmost hole on this side, and then bolt the holes in the same position over on the other side. Now with an extra set of hands, we're going to lift our hitch up over our exhaust. It might be easier to start with the passenger side first. And then we can lift it up over on our driver's side here. We then want to line up the holes in our hitch with the holes on the bolts coming down from the bottom of our frame. You do want to be careful when doing this to make sure you don't push your bolts back up into the frame. You could leave the fish wires on if you wanted to, but I went ahead and removed them. It just makes things a little bit faster, but it's a little bit safer, so if you get the fish wire on there, you can pull it back down if you do push it up into the frame. But once you've got your hitch lined up with your hardware poked through it, thread one of the flange nuts onto the carriage bolt, and once you've got one on each side, the hitch will hold itself up, making it easier to install the rest of your hardware. We can then go back and tighten our hardware down and torque it to the specifications found in our instructions. We'll just simply lift up on our exhaust. You'll pull out on the hanger until it lines back up with the hole, and then just push it back into place. We'll do that on the other side as well. With our exhaust back in place, we can go ahead and remove our strap. So then we're just going to trim out this section using the diagram found in our instructions. Gone ahead and marked it out, and we're just going to use some snips to cut it. We are going to be losing one of the attachment points, but our hitch is just in the way, so it's going to have to go. Now that we've got this side cut out, we're going to repeat the exact same process with our other underbody panel on the other side to trim that one out. To remove any markings if you made on it, a little bit of alcohol works really well. Once we got it trimmed out, we can go ahead and put that underbody panel shield back in place. It can be a little tricky getting it to fit, just due to the hitch being in the way, but once you kind of get everything to line up, it'll slip right back into place, and we're just going to reinstall the hardware that we removed. The other attachment point we cut off, which is further up here, so you don't need to worry about putting that one back on. You can put the bolt back on if you'd like. And now with all of our panels back in place, we're ready to load up our favorite accessories and hit the road. And that completes our installation of KURTZ 1 1/4 inch trailer hitch receiver on our 2019 Ford Edge.